Okay, so para 5e, para 5 is quite important para. Okay, because it talks about construction. In construction industry, a builder is not only giving you land, but he is also constructing a building by using cement, bricks, sand, steel, water, other chemical, tiles, bathroom fitting, electrical fitting. So many things put together he is supplying you. Okay, and therefore we call it a service industry, not a goods industry. Though goods are very important part of the construction industry, but still the game is not on goods. The game is on how you put them together. The labor component here, or the engineering component here, or interior component here, or architectural component here plays a vital role, and therefore we always call it construction is a service industry. It's not a goods industry. Now, please understand there are builders who are charging GST, and there are builders who are marketing as if they are not charging GST. So I have seen this kind of advertisements in Mumbai a lot of time when builder is putting on their advertisement holding that you purchase flat with us, then there will be no GST. So sometime on construction industry we charge GST, and sometime on construction industry we don't charge GST. So what is the deciding factor for that? A deciding factor whether a real estate project is going to be under GST or not is a completion certificate. If your property is ready to use, if your property is completely constructed and the local authority has given the approval, then the property has become immobile property, and then there will be no GST. But if the property is under construction, if the property is under construction and at that time only a buyer has purchased this property, then a builder is providing services to the buyer of a construction contract, and therefore we call it will be a service. So please understand, construction of a complex building, civil structure, or any part thereof, including complex or building intended for sale to the buyer wholly or partly, except where the entire consideration has been received after, except where entire consideration is received after issuance of completion certificate, or where occupancy is important, then occupancy, okay, is first after its first occupation. That means if you are purchasing a building, you need to remember it is, if the CC is the main date, completion certificate is the main date. If you are purchasing property under construction, then it is a supply of service and GST will be liable. Supply of service and GST will be liable. If you are purchasing building after completion certificate, that means a ready-made house, a ready to move house, then please understand there is no GST. Then there is a no GST, and it is covered under Schedule 3. It is covered under Schedule 3, and this is before completion certificate is covered under Schedule 2. So under construction property is covered under Schedule 2. That means under construction property is taxable, and construction completed property is not taxable. Look at this. Rathi Builder has constructed individual residential unit for agreed consideration of 1.2 crore per unit. 90 lakh per unit was received before issuance of completion certificate, and therefore it is a supply of service. This is a supply of service taxable. Okay, this is a supply of service. Architect, engineer, chartered engineer, licensed surveyor, obviously their activities are also supply of service. Temporary transfer or permitting use of intellectual property. So royalty is taxable or not taxable under GST. So royalty is taxable because you are giving your intellectual property, you are giving your patent, trademark, franchisee on hire. So definitely there will be tax on temporary transfer or permitting use of enjoyment of this particular intellectual property. The whole software industry is supplying services. Please understand, the whole software industry, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Mahindra Satyam, all these big companies of India, they are not giving you goods. Software is not a goods. Software is a service. Why? Because they develop, design, program, customization, adaptation, upgrading, enhancement, and implementation of any IT related software is considered as a supply of service. It's not a supply of goods. Look at this. Suvidha Solution develops accounting software for a business, and if they are giving you a higher, then it is supply of service. Next, I have told you this: doing something is also service, and not doing something is also a service. Agreeing to obligation to refrain from an act, agreeing to obligation to refrain from an act, or to tolerate an act or a situation is also a service. And on this we have had a very good discussion. One of the discussion is that I told you there's a building is getting constructed next to my building, and if they are disturbing me again and that is beyond what you say uh, allowable laws here in Maharashtra, then I have right to go and file complaint against them that this builder is disturbing the whole society around it, and we need to stop the construction. If I have to go, if I go there and complain like this, then his project will be under stay. So for not filing the complaint, for tolerating the disturbance caused by the builder may pay me 30 lakh rupees, and if he's paying me 30 lakh rupees, there will be GST on it because I'm tolerating the disturbance caused by the builder. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is this: if you are taking services from me and you are not paying me on time, then your non-performance is being tolerated by me. Your non-performance, your non-payment is tolerated by me. For that, I may charge you some extra consideration in form of delayed payment interest or late fees. Even that will be considered as a supply of service. If I have seen you doing some illegal activity and I am going to file complaint against you, then you may stop me by giving me some money, by asking me, please keep your mouth shut, but take this money. That's also agreeing to obligation to refrain from doing something. If I'm a competitor to you, you understand I should not enter into a particular market or I should not start particular division there where you are having your dominance, then you will pay me non-compete agreement. That is also a supply of service. Look at this. A cable operator Sakharam has entered into an agreement with cable operator Atmaram that Sakharam will not provide cable connection in particular areas. Okay, this is a non-compete agreement and this is a supply of service. A late delivery charges recovered for non-fulfillment of contract is supply of service. A notice pay recovered from the employee leaving the job. So there is the employee, when you must be knowing, if you are joining Air India as a pilot, okay, they will give you some training of 1 year or 2 years, and after that they will sign with your contract or bond of 5 years. So within 5 years you are not supposed to leave Air India. I'm just taking an example of Air India. Any airline company will do that because they are giving you training, and that is for that they are incurring very good amount of cost, so they need to have a bond with you. But after 3 years time you wanted to leave the job, yes, you can leave the job, but you need to pay some penalties to them. That penalty is also supply of service provided by employer to employee, and it will be charged to tax. Transfer right to use the goods, it will be supply of service. This is machinery given on hire. Work contract, again I'm telling you, work contract means building, construction, fabrication, completion, erection, installation. All these things are supply of service. Work contracts falls under service only. Supply of goods as a part of any service or in relation to any manner whatsoever, okay, being food or any article for human consumption. This is a restaurant. Okay, a restaurant is a service industry, it's not a supply of goods industry. And lastly, any goods, any supply of goods by the unincorporated association to member. So your society is selling you sanitizer, your society is selling you mask, your society is selling you some medicine during this COVID-19 situation, then that will be considered supply of goods because that is actually supply of goods, not a supply of services. Okay. This is what we need to understand. Next one is Schedule 3. Schedule 3 has origin in section 7 itself. Look at this. So we are done with section 7(1)(c) today, section 7(1)(a). Now we are entering into section 7 subsection 2. Section 7 subsection 2 talks about notwithstanding anything contained in section 7(1). Okay, that means it is overriding the your charging section or main section. Okay, activities shall be treated neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Neither supply of goods nor supply of services and this is given in Schedule 3, Section 2, Section 7 to A, Schedule 3. This is called as the negative list. This is called as the negative list. Negative list, very easy. We have discussed this as the ECAF. Okay, services by employee to employee during the course of employment, constitutional function, court fees, actionable claim. Okay, so all this we have discussed. We will discuss one more time very quickly. And then section 7 to B, activities undertaken by central government or state government as a public authority notified by the government in the recommendation of council. Here you should write liquor license. Government says a liquor license, on liquor license there should not be GST. This is notified by the government under section 7(2). So why do we require section 7(2)? Why do you require 7(2) as a negative list? This is what we have already discussed. Whenever the law is a comprehensive law, whenever the law is a comprehensive law means everything which is there in this universe is taxable. Everything which is there in this universe is taxable. Then only we create a negative list. Okay, then these many items are not taxable. That negative list is created here in Schedule 3 because everything else is a taxable, and what is not taxable is given under negative list. So that negative list we are going to discuss now very quickly without wasting much of time here. The first transaction here that we are going to discuss is any services by employee to employer in the course or furtherance of employment. Okay, so this is not taxable. Look at the example. Amount received by employee from the employer on premature termination of the contract are treatable as the amount paid in relation to service provided by the employee to employer in the course of employment. So whenever you are getting fired from the organization, they may give you 1 or 2 lakh rupees as a compensation or salary for doing the job. Anything, any services provided by employee to employer in the course of employment is not a taxable service, and therefore there is no tax, there is no GST on employee category people. Okay, next. Services provided by casual worker to employer who gives wages on daily basis, to worker are services provided by worker in the course of employment. Even if your employment is on daily basis, still you are doing the job, and if you are doing the job, you are not supposed to pay tax on that particular salary. Casual worker employed by construction contractor. Casual worker employed by a construction contractor for an execution building contract, for him are services in the course of employment, and therefore even casual workers are excluded from the employment. So whenever there is a GST, like there is no GST liability on employment related services. Please remember that. Only services that are provided by the employee to the employer in the course of employment are outside the realm of supply. That means if you do something in employment, then only you are getting benefit of Schedule 3. If you are a chartered accountant or cost accountant and you are providing some extra services to your employer beyond what you are supposed to do, say for example, tomorrow I'm a chartered accountant and I'm employee of one particular organization, and they are getting notice from GST department and they are asking me, requesting me, Ram sir, you take couple of lakh rupees but go and handle the GST matter. So if I provide them services beyond my employment for a consideration, then it will be taxable as a supplier. Only employment is excluded, only job related, salary is excluded. Look at this. Services provided outside the ambit of employment for a consideration would qualify the supply. For example, a service is provided on a contract basis by a person to another person, that is principal to principal, are not in the course of employment. So contract work will be taxable. Any amount paid by the employer to employee for not joining a competing business, not joining a competitor. That means you understand this is for agreeing to refrain from doing something will be taxable. This will be taxable. Next, in India, justice is provided by the court, and we charge fees for registering your case. So we don't want that justice should become costlier than what it is today. Therefore, any fee charged by any court or tribunal in India is covered under Schedule 3 and therefore it is not taxable. Services by court or tribunal established under any law for time being in force. Okay. Court includes Supreme Court, High Court, District Court, any type of court. Then these are some constitutional function: MP, MLA, MLC, Rashtrapati, Pradhan Mantri, ministries. Okay. So any CBI, CID, okay, police officer, home ministry, all those people who are providing or doing the activities which are performing constitutional capacity are excluded from the levy of tax. Function performed by member of parliament, member of state legislatures, member of panchayat, okay, member of municipalities, member of other local authorities are excluded from the charge. Next, duties performed by person who holds any post in pursuance of provision of constitution. So constitutional positions are also excluded. Then duties performed by President of India, Vice President of India, Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Chief Election Commissioner, Controller and Auditor General of India, Chairman of UPSC, Attorney General of India, all these capacities, they get paid for doing all these things, but there is no GST on that. Okay. Next, duties performed by person as a chairperson or member or director of a body established by central government or a state government or local authority who is not deemed as an employee. If he is an employee, then obviously it is already covered under employee criteria. Here, this is not independent director, but still it is not taxable because he is also providing constitutional function. Okay. Services provided by service of funeral, burial, crematorium, mortuary, including transportation of deceased. Once you are dead, whatever final rituals are getting performed on the body of the assessee, that is not taxable at all. Okay. Next, sale of land and building. Tomorrow, if your father is going to sell your land and building, maybe you are having house in Mumbai and you are going to sell it for 1 crore rupees. Should he charge GST on that? Answer is no, because your father is supplying land or building except which is covered under para 5B of Schedule 2, that is before CC. That means I'm sure your father is not selling under construction property, your father is supplying a constructed property. And therefore, I told you there are some builder in Mumbai who are doing this advertisement that you buy houses from us, there will not be GST because their project is completed. Okay. So sale of land and building is not taxable, but after CC, before CC, it is taxable. Next, actionable claim normally it's not a goods. Forcefully they have created it as a goods in GST law. The understanding behind it that is they wanted to take tax on actionable claim. But if you come to entry number 6 in schedule this 3, actionable claims are covered here. Actionable, all actionable claims are not taxable, but except lottery, betting and gambling. That means lottery, betting and gambling, these 3 actionable claims are taxable. Apart from these 3 actionable claims, nothing else is taxable. Okay. So look at this definition of actionable claim. Actionable claims are specifically included in definition 2. So they are asking us to refer the definition. However, in this para, please understand, actionable claims other than lottery, betting and gambling from ambit of definition of supply. Co-joint reading of the provision implies only lottery, betting and gambling are treated as supply. All other actionable claims are not taxable. Some other examples of actionable claims are right to recover insurance money, claim of arrears of rent, claim for future rates, unsecured loans, unsecured debentures, bills of exchange, promissory note, bank guarantee, fixed deposit receipt, right to benefit of a contract. All these other actionable claims are not taxable. Only lottery, betting and gambling is taxable. This is what you need to refer. And then section 7(2)(a) gives the power to government to give notification so that there will be some exemption. Now here, what exemption here is provided? Any activity done by municipality or panchayat is not taxable here. Okay. Interstate movement of conveyance. So this truck is going from one state to another state. This truck is not taxable. Goods in that truck is taxable. So that was simple clarification, not that important. Interstate movement of rigs, tools, spares. So if you are having this huge crane and all, and this going from Maharashtra to Gujarat. So please understand, this crane is not taxable. This crane is not taxable. Yeah, service charges are taxable, but this crane is not taxable because you are giving it on a higher basis. So that was our section 7. You please read it once again from the module. Let's come back to our section 8. I always like to give this one famous example of pencil plus eraser. So this is a pencil plus eraser. I always love to give this example. Yeah, JCB. JCB is not taxable, bro. Supply of JCB is not taxable. JCB is not taxable. A service charges for JCB will be taxable. Please understand, this is the pencil with eraser. This is the pencil with eraser. Now, if you go to shop, the pencil may have different rate of tax. Maybe say for example 18%, and eraser may have a different rate of tax. Maybe say for example 12%. Okay. Now, pencil and eraser, if they are supplied together, then it is called as composite supply. It is called as composite supply, and composite supply means two or more products supplied together. Now, in this particular product, what is more important, pencil or eraser? So from the commercial parlance, you need to understand pencil is more important than eraser, and therefore the whole product should be called as a pencil. The whole product should be called as a pencil. Similar, another example, when you purchase a mobile phone, in box you get mobile, you get charger, you get data cable, you get hands-free, okay, you get mobile cover, so you get many other things. But why did you purchase this particular box, this whole packet? So that you can use the mobile phone. So mobile phone is your principal supply. Mobile is your principal supply, and whatever is the rate of duty of mobile will be applied on whole product. Though this independent product are also available in the market, but right now the supply which is important here is the mobile phone. Another example of composite supply is, you are staying in the hostel, okay, or a boarding school. You are staying in a boarding school, and boarding school provides multiple services: education, accommodation, food, housekeeping, multiple services. If only education is provided, then it is exempt. It is fully exempt. If accommodation is provided, it is 18% taxable. Food is taxable at the rate of 5%, and housekeeping is taxable at the rate of 18%. Now, please understand, the hostel or this boarding school is not charging separate consideration. They are charging lump sum consideration, maybe 20,000 rupees per month. If they are charging 20,000 rupees per month, the lump sum consideration from you, then you must understand this concept, that this is a composite supply. Why person goes to this particular school, boarding school? Do you think he goes there to stay there? Answer is no. Do you think he goes there to eat food? No. Do you think he went there to get his clothes clean or house clean? Answer is no. He went there to study. So though you are supplying 4 or more services together, but still the principal supply is the education, and therefore whole 20,000 will be fully exempt. Okay. On contrary, please understand, on opposite to that, if you are buying a gift box for your brother on Raksha Bandhan, which includes a belt, wallet, and watch, okay. Now these three products have nothing to do with each other, and if they are having different rate, maybe 28%, 18%, and 12%, then government say this is a mixed supply. This is a mixed supply, and this mixed supply should be taxable at the highest possible rate. This mixed supply should be taxable at the highest possible rate. One more example of mixed supply I would like to give you. This is a house, okay. This is a residential house, and this is a commercial house. A commercial house is fully taxable. Commercial house is fully taxable, and residential house is fully exempt in the law. But what this assessee is giving? Assessee is giving the combined rate. Assessee charging a combined rate of 33,000. Combined rate of 30,000 for whole house. If this is done by the assessee to evade taxes by showing it as a fully exempt, then government says no. In this case, we are going to charge highest tax, and highest tax means government is going to get covered it under fully taxable range, not under fully exempt range. So please understand the distinction between mixed supply and composite supply. Please try to understand distinction between mixed supply and composite supply. Composite supply is given under section 8A and mixed supply is given under section 8B. Composite supply consists two or more supply. Then only we can call it composite supply. Okay. Next, mixed supply also consists two or more products which are supplied for a single price. Okay. Composite supply are naturally bundled. Naturally bundled means not nature-wise. Naturally bundled means in that particular business is very common. It's very common to give you tea and snacks on Air India flight. On Air India flight, you get tea and snacks. That's very much natural. Okay. If you stay in 5-star hotel, you get food complimentary, breakfast complimentary. That's very much natural in that area of business. Okay. And here it is not naturally bundled. This is in conjunction with each other. It's like pen plus refill. Having refill in the pen is mandatory. Without refill, you cannot sell the pen. Yeah, apart from that, you can separately sell. You can separately sell refill, but you cannot sell a pen without a refill. And therefore, they say in case of pen with refill, the major product, the primary product was pen, not a refill. This is in conjunction with each other. Here, those can be supplied independently. This supply can be made independently. Still, it is supplied together. So they don't have any relationship. Like they are not. It's like Pepsi supplied with Lay's. Now Pepsi and Lay's or Kurkure is not a conjunction. Okay. So they are independent product. Here, one more example I give, and that is very funny. A refrigerator supplied along with cold drink. So refrigerator free if you purchase cold drink, and this doesn't happen when you purchase 1 or 2 cold drink. It happens on a commercial level. A commercial level means a hotel may purchase some maybe 100 or 200 bottles of cold drink from Coca-Cola, and then Coca-Cola supply refrigerator free along with cold drink. Now in that case, please understand, a cold drink and refrigerator are two separate products supplied together, and that's a mixed supply. In composite supply, one of which is a principal supply. One of which means principal supply. And here, both are equally important. Both are equally important. Important is this one. So what will be the tax liability on a whole bundle? A tax liability will be of principal supply. And here, the tax liability will be the highest possible rate. The highest possible rate. Sir, are there any example? Yes, many examples. Goods packed with packing material. Goods packed with packing material. So you will never charge a rate of packing material. You will always charge a rate of goods on the box. TV with warranty. Warranty is not important. Warranty is a secondary thing. Primary product is or dominant product is TV. So TV's rate should be applied on the whole bill. Passenger transportation of passenger service along with food. Food is not important. Transportation of passenger is important. So that is the principal supply. Accommodation with complimentary breakfast in the hotel. Accommodation is more important, not a complimentary breakfast. So the main rate is accommodation. So that rate will be applied on the whole bill. Gift pack comprising chocolate, candies, sweets and balloons. If you are giving like this, then the highest rate of this product will be charged. It's a mixed supply. Cold drink along with a refrigerator, the highest rate will be charged in these circumstances. Okay. Let's look at some of the example given in the module. Poshak manufacturers enter into contract with Chiku Limited for supply of ready-made shirts packed in a designer boxes. So you tell me what is more important to you, designer box or garment? Please reply in the chat box. What is more important? Garment inside it or designer box? Garment. So the principal supply is garment. Okay. So please understand. Further, Pushpak manufacturer would also get them insured during the transit. Insurance, packing, everything is secondary. The main product is garment. In this case, supply of goods and packing material and transport and insurance is a composite supply. Okay, and the supply of goods being the principal supply. So rate of garment will be charged on a whole bill, not separate rates. Okay, next. Where a consumer buys a television set along with a mandatory warranty, the maintenance contract with TV. Samiksha, are you trying to say something because your mic is on? Okay, next. Yeah, that's fine, no problem. In this example, the TV is the principal supply, therefore rate of TV will be applied on the whole bill. For warranty charges, we are not going to pay a separate GST. Air travel ticket. Air travel ticket, please understand. Air travel ticket from Mumbai to Delhi may include service of food being served on board. This happens in Air India. Okay, free insurance and the use of transport airport lounge. That means by the time the flight comes, you are allowed to sit in one particular AC room. So that is a transport passengers lounge. In this case, transport of passenger constitute a predominant element of the composite supply, and it is treated as a principal supply, and all other supply are ancillary or additional. Therefore, transportation of passengers rate will apply on the whole bill. Okay. Next one. Now here, IC is trying to give you an explanation. There is no straight jacket formula. This phrase, no, I love the most. There is no straight jacket formula whether the supply is mixed supply or composite supply. It can always be disputable, and whenever dispute occurs, it will go to the court, and then court will give us some fundamentals, some principles on which we can divide what is composite supply and what is mixed supply. And therefore, it is in practical life, it has to be checked on case to case basis. There is no by default formula or straight jacket formula which will apply to all the situations equally. So please understand, no straight jacket formula can be laid down to determine whether the service is naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business or not. Each case has to be individually examined in the backdrop of several factors, some of which are outlined above. The principles explained in the light what constitutes naturally bundled service can be gainfully adopted to determine whether the principal supply constitutes a composite supply under GST, and if so, what constitute a principal supply, so that to determine right classification and rate of tax. Now please understand, our institute have written some explanations here. They have given some thumb rule principle, like based on which if you go through, you will understand what is principal supply and what is ancillary supply. Okay. For example, servicing car involving supply of both, like spare part and labor. Now whether it is supply of spare part or whether it is supply of service, so for that CBDT has given some explanation which are very simple. Okay, which rate is applicable? CBSA clarified that goods and services would be liable to tax at a rate applicable to such goods and services separately. So if you are having bill and you are charging separate bill for spare part and separate bill for labor services, then services will be taxable at service rate, that rate which is there for labor, that is 18%. And spare parts, there are different spare parts that can be used for the car, electrical spare part, then mechanical spare part. So every spare part will have different rate. According to their rates, it will be charged. Okay, so separate rates can be charged. That's what CBDT has clarified. Whenever you print books, please understand, whenever you print books and all, the knowledge is more important. Knowledge is more important in case of printing of books, but in case of printing of tissue paper, compare tissue paper and books. Okay, in case of books, knowledge is more important, and in case of tissue paper, a paper is more important. Okay, and therefore in printing industry, you need to check with case on case basis whether the knowledge, that means intangible content, is important or the tangible goods is more important. Usually they are saying if the content is supplied by the publisher and the content is more important, then it is supply of service. But If you are supplying boxes, tissue, napkin, wallpaper, in this case, it is supply of goods. It is supply of goods. If you go to any good restaurant, they supply tissue paper with the name of the restaurant. So that printing industry was asking question to CBIC whether we are supplying printing services or we are supplying goods. So they said if it is intangible content which is more important, then you are supplying services. If the tangible, that means paper, is more important, then it is supply of goods. Activities of bodybuilding. Bodybuilding means in many tempos, if you have seen the tempo, when they purchase tempo, it is open. And after that day, you contract to build body on that. That's a bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is not this muscle building, not that. The principal supply may be determined on the basis of fact and circumstances of each case. So they are also saying every time you have to check whether body was important or service was important. Okay. Retreating tires. That means, please understand, you remove the tire from your vehicle, they are repairing the tire and then they are giving back the tire. So that is supply of service. But if you are buying old tires and selling it in the second-hand market, then it is supply of goods. Mixed supply. Some example of mixed supply. Supply of package consisting canned food, sweets, chocolates, cake, dry fruits, aerated water. You are supplying all this together. So what will happen? This is a mixed supply. Okay. Shopkeeper selling storage of water bottle along with a refrigerator. So this is also a mixed supply. Okay. A house is given on the rent. The house is given on the rent through single deed. First floor is commercial and second floor is residential. This is also a commercial supply. This is also commercial supply. The chapter is over here. Then revision starts. These are the revisionary charts created by ICAI. Please go through it. We have also given our handwritten notes. Okay, we have also given handwritten notes. Last 1 minute is left. Let's do some MCQs and then that will be, that we are done with the today's lecture. Which of the following is not a supply as per section 7? Which of the following is not a supply as per section 7? Okay. Import of service for a consideration is a service. It's a supply. Management consultancy services. Please understand. Management consultancy services provided without consideration. We did not see anything like this in section 7(1)(c). Therefore, this is not a supply. Okay. Next one. Dash schedule specifies activities which are made without consideration. Which schedule? Which schedule specifies activities supplied without consideration is supply. So deemed supply is given in schedule 1. Deemed supply is given in schedule 1. Next. Which of the following activities outside the scope of supply not taxable? Come on, tell me.